The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending our webinar here today. It's going to be a really good one. We're going to be talking about how to tweak baby boomer messages for Generation X. My name is Devin Hansen. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales here at Alternative Brokerage. And I tell you what, this has been a topic that's really been on a lot of people's minds. You know, you have a broad spectrum of clientele out there nowadays with really differing personalities, cultures, buying patterns, product types, needs, concerns, all of the above. Especially how they buy and what they're going to buy is different, be it as advisors and really those of us out there who are really focused on marketing. We've got to understand, how do we find something, how do we make a message that is going to be tailored to each one of those? But yet, if we're going to have different tailored messages, how do we specialize in a product line or in a process? And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm going to bring you an idea, a topic, and a program that's going to help you to really make all of that cohesive, something that's going to allow you to be able to target each and every market and be able to do something that you can still specialize in, which is really critical, because being that specialist is what helps you to turn that corner from good to great. I'm still seeing a lot of people get logged on here this morning, so what I'm going to do is just cover a little bit of housekeeping really quick, get you some more information on myself as everyone gets up and running. As I mentioned, my name is Devin Hansen. You can see my pretty mug there on the right-hand side. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales. I'm also the Advanced Market Specialist here in the office. I spent the better part of a decade now in the insurance and financial industry, both retail and wholesale. That's something important to me, is to maintain licensing and to maintain selling. I think it really helps us get a cutting edge, and more so an edge above the competition, because when we look at programs, products, and everything else, we look at it from the retail standpoint. What do I want? What do I want to sell? What do my consumers need? That 10 years of experience has also been what's helped me become that advanced market specialist. I'm accounting by education. I deal in taxation, inflation, 2, 3, 4 quadruple tier planning as far as product approaches. I also have a tremendous background in the RIA industry, so I can help you kind of cover the gamut on how to include that as well. Product specialist, I think that just kind of comes with the job as well. And really our goal here, and my goal, is to ensure all agents' needs are met on a daily basis. You know, here at Alternative Brokerage, we believe in knowing all of our agents by name, not by the value of their production. That's another thing that really always aggravated me from the outside, was seeing members of my team, seeing agents that I knew that couldn't get help because they weren't a $3, $4, $5 million producer. IMOs that say, you did $2.99 million, we can't work with you. Every agent out here has value. Every single agent is out here to make their name and their mark in the industry, and they should not be squashed because they're not at the pinnacle. Everyone has to start somewhere. So here, we know you by name. We don't know you by production. We don't know you by numbers. That's really critical and important. To continue the housekeeping ideas, people are getting logged on here. I just want to make sure you guys know, after April, that Social Security is still extremely hot and heavy. I've got groups closing $1 million per event with our Social Security marketing. I mean, that's an unbelievable return on investment. You know, you're talking in putting anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, depending on how big you want to go. And you know, you think $1 million in production, that's anywhere from $60,000 to $75,000 in commission. That's an unbelievable ROI. And so despite the fact that we lost balance of spend, it's still extremely critical because consumers have no source for the education. Final expense is poised for a big summer boost, summer bust out here. That's something I've always felt critical. I think final expense creates a great backdrop for income because it's really consistent, and to be honest, retention rates have held true since it's been out. You're starting to see actually telesignatures as well, so if you work in a remote area, you can even do it over the phone. But it's a very inexpensive marketing tactic that can generate a really good income to give you that backdrop for when you're going after the bigger products. Athena is still burning it up, so much so they're really behind. They're processing right now applications all the way back from like May 22nd. That's a product having the #1 product in the industry. Sorry to use that term so many times, but the reality is the Ascent Pro series, Ascent Pro Bonus 10.0, whichever way you want to call it, whichever state, is phenomenal. That 10% roll-up with good payout rates is just untouchable. You combine that in with a nice 10% income bonus in most states as well. It is the pinnacle. So bear with them as they're processing. Know that your client's going to get a good product, and just make sure to manage that expectation on how long it's going to take. Minnesota Life, the Omega, is still the #1 IUL for income purposes. You're talking a company that finally wised up on IULs and said, okay, people are buying us for cash value. So why don't we build a product that makes a better cash value? The reality is, though, that's got to come from somewhere. That's why no other company's done it, because they couldn't figure it out. But what they did with the Omega product is they said, okay, they're buying us for cash. That death benefit should really be a moot point. So instead of having to fund all this money to pay this huge lump sum in one day, why don't we stretch it out? So they stretch it out over up to 30 years to allow you to pump even more money into cash value instead of that potential death benefit. On average, they're beating people by 20, 25%. I mean, that's unstoppable. And EMC, a company many of you don't know, here in the Midwest, they absolutely dominate. You're talking a company that's taken over like 6, 7, 8, 9 states, school systems, every government body. They're absolutely huge, and their life insurance is so simple. They've got a whole life. That's a 6-question application. It's an easy issue. I call that green light. It's a yes or it's a no. When you submit that, it's done in 3 days because it's a yes or it's a no, and you'll know that when you do the application. Huge, huge seller, especially if you do mortgages. I tell you what, talk about an easy add-on, and they have an instant issue term, the exact same type of product, literally issues even before you leave. So sell a $250K home, sell a $250,000, boom, done, 30 years. You're paid up on both sides, creating upfront and residuals. So it is absolutely top-notch. Looks like everyone's kind of in here too. Wrap this up here at perfect timing so we can get started on today's topic of how to tweak baby boomer messages for Gen X. So let's kind of talk about this. I want to set the stage. And I want to talk about the different classes of clientele, really the 3 main bulk areas for us to focus on, and how many there are. You know, you look at millennials, for example, they're the biggest out there. They've destroyed baby boomer size by far and away. There's 83.1 million millennials in the United States, and that is a classification of clientele that most of us have absolutely no idea how to get in front of, just to be honest. Baby boomers, the biggest as far as retirement planning goes. You're looking at 75.4 million baby boomers. And then Gen X, that's my generation, folks. And this is the reason baby boomers have so much money. They had less kids than the people having millennials right now, by the way. 65.8 million Generation X clientele. Great clientele class. Trust me, we're the best. It's what we say. But really, we're talking about 3 utterly and completely different types of consumers. And that's just to be frank. A boomer is not going to be looking at things the same way as a millennial. It's not going to be looking at the same way as the Gen X's. I mean, politics tells us that, let alone products. So as an agent, the big question comes down to how should you approach these clients? Now, how do you specialize in a line of business when each class of clientele is so different from the next? Because again, everything that we do comes back to being a specialist. That's why they work with us. We specialize in what we do. Otherwise, they would just buy it online. And that's not what we want. We have to preserve our industry. So who should my target market be in order to figure out how to specialize? So let's kind of look at that target market part first. Market comes first, specialty comes second here. So the day-old saying is that you should sell within 10 years of your age, right? That's pretty simple to understand. You got Agent A, he's 35 years old. He's going to be more in that millennial bracket, 25 to 45 years old. Agent B, he's 45 years old. His target market's 35 to 55 years old. Then you have Agent C. He's 55, so his target market's 45 to 65 years old. 10 years on both sides of the equation. Now, do you agree with this approach? Because I personally think so. You know, but the real question is, do you think someone 35 has the same interest as someone aged 55? Think Agent B. You know, he's in the middle of that. He's got to spread his wings here, guys. 35 to 55. That's his target market. That is a completely separate class of clientele. But yet that's where he's going to sell just based off of the generations old idea of 10 years around your age. And it really does hold true. You could try and beat the numbers and sometimes will, but it's kind of like the 80-20 rule. It's just going to happen. So the question is, now when you see this broad spectrum for your average client or average agent and client here, is what lines of business would interest such a diverse group of individuals? So this comes into that specialty part again. And the reality is there is a really good style of business that you can utilize here to target them. And it's something that I think a lot of us know about. It's life insurance, folks. And I'm not talking about term insurance. I'm not talking about final expense. I'm not talking about mortgage protection. I'm talking about the big stuff. I'm talking about permanent insurance. I'm talking about investment grade life insurance. That is the IUL, that is the Indexed Universal Life product. Now, why IUL? Why for such a broad spectrum of people should I be looking at IUL? Well, it's pretty simple. Millennials love them because there's no taxes, right? They get to control it. That's what they want, everything they want. They have to have their safe places. They have to control everything, boycott everything, promote everything. They want control because they want to beat the man, right? Not to sit here and be very generic and stereotypes, but we're just going to go with that today. So they hate taxes. They want control. They want to beat the man. The IUL is going to be right up that alley because it's going to allow them to avoid taxes in the long run. It's going to allow them to control their own policy. It's going to allow them to beat the man by avoiding the taxes. Generation X. You're talking a generation that has the largest amount of college tuition bills in the entire United States. It's the trillion-dollar problem. They're going to love IULs because of college. Not necessarily for themselves, for their kids. You see? This is selling it as a way to create an investment bank account to be able to pay for their kids' tuition. They've got the money to put money in the IUL on top of paying their bills, which are pretty hefty on that student loan side. But this is going to help their future generations really take care of business. Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. All right, so baby boomers now, they like the IUL because of the living benefits. That's straightforward. They love the idea of the investment grade. They got the money for it. They've amassed large amounts, but they've got spare income. Living benefits are what they've ignored, though. A lot of boomers have not bought long-term care, and they're now sitting here faced with the fact that, okay, well, my parents are in right now, and I am paying an arm and a leg to help fund them, so I should probably protect myself. A lot of them are going to look at self-protection. It's pretty easy, though, when you look at two different folks. When you think, okay, $60,000 a piece, $300,000 worth of long-term care, you're probably going to average for each one of those. Do you have $600K outside of your living expenses? Also, can you afford $300K while the other spouse is fine? The answer is no. Plain and simple, no. That's where the IUL is going to come in for them. And it's something really easy that you can tap into. And it's something that traditional LTC products have really gone away from, because it was so hard for carriers to afford it. I mean, you see major companies like Genworth, for example, that have backed out of the market because they just can't afford it, and that was the #1 LTC company in the nation, by the way, at least I believe. So you can fact check me on that. But consumers saw that, and now all the products are going to like single-year pieces or atrociously costing full-term long-term care policy. So we're going to give them something to get multiple benefits from and are willing to invest their money into, plain and simple. And that's going to be the Indexed Universal Life. So as we move on here, what we've done to change the game, it's no more one product for all approach, as in separate approach for different demographics. It is a one product approach. It's play on words here, that the IUL, but each person's going to see it as a different product, right? That's kind of the unique part. We've singled out these three major clientele bases for investment-grade life insurance, and we've embraced hybrid sales, things like the living benefits. By the way, also, those baby boomers are huge for single premium life. I'll bring that up here in a moment, just in passing, but wanted to make sure you guys knew it. So you can now specialize in a product line for any client rather than just a specific client. So now we know how to market to different classes, or we know there's different classes that exist. Let's say that. We know there are different classes that exist. We know a specific product line that we can utilize for each of them. It'll look separate, but in essence, it's all that same product. So now that we know who we should be selling and what we should be selling, it's how do we get in front of them, right? That's the next big question. That's what everyone has been looking for a long time, including myself. It has been over a decade that I have been searching for solid IUL programs, solid life insurance, investment-grade life insurance program, really with no avail. There's only been about one IMO out there who ever even really got close to being right, and to be honest, there was just no rhyme or reason to their program. So after a decade of searching, our family said, we got to do something here, and that's where AB's program really came to light. And what we have is a full turnkey, full spectrum life insurance workshop setup. So it's full spectrum support, by the way. It's an easy to use illustration request form when you're doing your quotes for these folks. We're going to run the gamut to test and develop the best product approach for your client. That comes from this guy right here, Advanced Market Specialist. We've got underwriting support. We've made connections over the industry over years of work. We have pre-issue support, aka we're going to help you figure it out before you submit it, so you don't submit preferred and come back table 2. We've got a fully scripted presentation. It is tested and proven effective. Remember, retail here, we like to know what's going to work before we send it to you. And we've got the entire handouts for the workshop set up and ready to rock. It's the key to capturing appointments and sales. We also have Life Insurance 101 for those of you looking to break into it. I know the DOLs really made a lot of people scared on the annuity side, so we're seeing a flood of insurance folks coming our way. We got full training videos, we got full training presentations, and we actually have a really neat comparative software. This is an outsourced third party. We didn't want to develop our own. We wanted to work with the best, so we partnered with the best. It's an absolutely fantastic workshop. But how do these things work? How am I going to market to them, right? Next question. You're smart. You know where I'm going with this. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about those prospects. I've got a couple major different demographics and listing groups for different types of those IULs. And like I mentioned, single premium life can be added in there as well. But it's basically, let's look at the DEMS of the marketing, the demographics, and the financial side. So you have two major age shifts, 35 to 60. Your target's going to be 75 to 100K in IPA. Can you go higher? Yes. Is that going to kill your marketing response? Yes. Do not elephant hunt, folks. I've seen agents try again and again over the last decade, and they bust. They'll get 1 year where it works. Guess what happens the next year? Broke as a joke. Third year, they left the industry. Make $150,000, $250,000 your first year, 60 the next, and now you got nothing left because you didn't market. And those elephants, well, they went on to a new watering hole. Your older bracket, because they've got a little bit more money, is going to be 100K in IPA for 50 to 74. And we can split these lists out in 3 different ways. You got your sub 45 bracket, millennials and Gen X. That's going to be really strictly IUL. You got your midterm, 45 to 60. That's going to cover Gen X and boomers. That's going to be your IUL and single premium life. Then you got your 55 to 70 bracket, which is going to be IULs and single premium life as well. You know, I haven't mentioned single premium life much. We've been talking IULs. It's still in that life insurance family. It's more of those living benefits we talked about with the boomers earlier. That's really where we're going with this and what we're doing. So those are your 3 different targets. So now let's market to them and talk about how we're going to do it. As I mentioned, this is a workshop. This is a full seminar, essentially. We're going to do mailings on the setup. They're really inexpensive. It's a custom price, 65 cents a pop. Now you have a 5,000-piece mailer that you're going to be going out with that. Now, those of you in the room who are numbers guys like me, right, you're sitting here going, okay, 5,000 pieces, 65 cents a pop, that's cheap. That's $32.50 for an event. How many people did I get for that event? You get a 0.75 to 1.2% response rate on that mailer. So that is, click those calculators, 38 to 60 individuals that are going to get set up for that. That is cheap. And I mean cheap. That's the beautiful part. It's a wedding style quality invite, and it includes a full client 800 number reservation line. So you're going to be able to host a workshop, meal included. We do include a meal. Try not to get angry at that. It's just what gets folks in the door. It works well. You're still thinking $32.50. Okay, we're getting 38 to 60 folks. Let's say we're getting 50, $20 a meal. Wow, I just hosted an entire seminar for $4,000 and a quarter for $42.50. That's impressive. That's what we thought, at least. Because I've been sitting out here doing seminars for $8,000 for years. This is half the cost with twice the results. Whew! Now we're talking up my alley and most of your alleys. So it's an absolute killer program. It's back to simple tactics, and it's specializing in a specific product, but allowing you to diversify. So 1 month I can hit millennials, 1 month boomers, 1 month Gen X, back and forth, cover the gamut. Now you've got a generational practice that as people age out, new ones are always coming in, and as you age out, you've got something you could sell to any age advisor that's out there. That's one of the really neat parts to me. So what we've done to change the game. Let's kind of cover this one more time. I want to get this thing wrapped up for you guys here. But we've built a turnkey program to help you target that message from baby boomers to Generation X. We've built it with custom presentations for each age group, mind you not, that are fully scripted and proven effective. And we brought along with it a top life insurance illustration software, something that's going to help you get out there, do your job, but do it quick, easy, and effectively. Because I don't know about you, I don't want to overwork. You know, I overworked my first few years in the industry, so I don't have to so much later in life. That's how each and every one of us do it. It's an entrepreneurial lifestyle, build, and then ride that wave of success. So we're going to help you do that, create it easy with the software package. But from top to bottom, I can help you get in front of each bracket. Boomers, Gen X, Millennials, I can help do it with a different message, a different presentation, a different asset class, but all with the same type of product. That's an IUL and an SPL mixed inside of there, that we're going to be able to create some huge, huge policies on. I mean, we just sold one the other day. It's a $50,000 annual premium. $50,000. $50,000, right? 5-year pay. You know what that equals for that agent? Because that agent's getting 90% on target on that. That's equaling a huge payday. These are the type of policies that we don't want, we need, and these are the type of policies that are going to keep our industry going and effectively are going to keep us out of that DOL debate as well. So if you're interested in knowing more about this, you want to speak with someone, one of my consultants, one of my wholesalers, about how to best penetrate your local market, no matter millennials, boomers, or Gen X. If you want to become the tax-free benefit specialist in your area, the beat the man specialist in your area, the college planning specialist in your area, you want to become the living benefits guy in the area, today you need to call this number listed down here below. That number is 855-779-1010. That's our 800 number. And I'm going to tell you this number one more time. You need to scratch this into your desk if you don't have a piece of paper, because it is going to help you change your life. Our phone number here at the office, Alternative Brokerage. The folks are going to help you penetrate the IUL market, which is something no one's been able to do consistently in our game. Over a decade I've been looking for something like this, and it's finally come to fruition. That number is 855-779-1010. You need to call this number, folks. This is going to change everything for you. It's going to give you direction. It's going to allow you to avoid the DOL debate. It's going to allow you to specialize. It's going to allow you to diversify. I can keep going all day long, but to be honest, I need a sip of water, so I'm probably going to let you guys go. Give us a call. My guys are standing by. You can ring into anyone here. They'll help you out. They'll get you set up. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being on. My name's Devin. You can contact me directly. You can contact Josh here in the office. Any of our employees, contact Bob, our owner himself. We'll all be able to help you out. 855-779-1010. Thank you.